My name is Suren Ramasubbu, and I'm heading Academica India. I'm the director of Academica India, and we 2 years ago, we had a dream, and I kind of sold that dream to Antonio, who's our boss, Andres, and he's our boss. So we sold the dream to Antonio, saying there are a lot of students in India who can benefit from the dual diploma program. And Antonio was already sold. He was already convinced. He had visited India maybe 3-4 years ago, and he had met students, he had met principals, he had met teachers here, and he felt that there is a lot of interest and there is a lot of benefit that students can get from the dual diploma program. So I kept asking him, and he said, okay, you do it. Right? So where does my interest come from? Andres is a pure educator. I'm not. He's a teacher at heart. I'm not. I had nothing to do with education. So I have to start with my story first. I studied in Coimbatore, Salem, Trichy, Hyderabad, Bombay. My father was in a transferable job. So I went to many different schools. I must have studied in 9 schools during my school years, 9 different schools. So I have a lot of friends in a lot of different places, but I don't belong to any one place. But my native village is about 60 kilometers from here. So apparently, I don't remember any of this. I grew up in the village for the first 4-5 years of my life. I have no recollection of what happened then, but whenever I used to go back to that village, everyone in the village knows me, but I don't know anyone. So I was the most popular kid in the village that everybody knew and I did not know. So I have a very long connection to Madurai region, and for that reason I'm very happy to be here today, and I'll tell you why it's very dear to my heart. So I grew up in all these different places. Then I went to PSG Tech, where I did my engineering, electrical engineering. I actually wanted to be a doctor. It was my mother's dream, and as usual, we make our parents' dream our dream, right? So I wanted to be a doctor, and I think I missed the cutoff by 0.02% or something like that. You know how competitive it is. All of you are going to experience it. So I missed the cutoff for MBBS. So then I said, okay, PSG Tech is a good college, and then I went to PSG. And during my first year, this was the first time I was learning physics with interest. And when I learned engineering physics, I kind of fell in love with it. And then I said, oh my God, thankfully I did not go to medical college. I found the right place. And then during the course of the year, I discovered that a lot of my classmates knew computer science already, and I was the one coming from a biology background. So for me, computer science was new. So I was feeling very, very nervous about it, and I started programming. In those days we didn't have laptops, so I used to go to the lab and sit and code all the time. And I topped the class at the end of the year. I topped the computer science class, and that gave me a lot of confidence. And then that's when I decided to be a technologist. I wanted to be in the field of engineering, in the field of computer science. Anything related to engineering fascinates me. If you get into a topic of how this light bulb works, and I can have a debate with you for the next 2 hours. If we talk about quantum physics, I can talk for 1 hour. If we talk about black holes and galaxies and stuff, I'll spend all day talking to you about it. So I fell in love with engineering, and I enjoyed my time in college. And I discovered that a lot of students go to America to study further. I did not know any of that before. So I met a couple of classmates who were planning to go abroad. So then I said, okay, let me also try. So I applied, and I got very good scores in GRE and all that. And I went to Virginia Tech, which is one of the top engineering colleges in the US. And there I fell in love with higher education in America. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I'll tell you why that shares a common thread with the dual diploma program. The way education happens in America is very different from the way it happens in India. And I'm not saying the Indian system is wrong or right. The Indian system has its merits, and you people are all in the middle of school, so I should not discourage you or anything. But our focus in the Indian system is on exams. We go to school to prepare for the exam. We study for the exam, then we write the exam, and we measure our scores, and we say, okay, I got 80%, how do I get to 85%? Or if I'm at 95%, how do I get to 98%? If I'm at 98%, how do I get to 100%? Right? The focus of our education is on marks and on outcomes, which is okay. Especially in the formative years, the kind of rigorous training that we get in mathematics, in science, social studies, this is unmatched. And this has been proven. There have been many studies done all over the world. And it has been shown that Asian systems of education, not just the Indian system, but India, Singapore, so Asian countries are leading the world in terms of educating their children, especially in the early years, the primary years, the middle school years, and the high school years, right? So our grounding in terms of rigor and in terms of practice and in terms of deferred gratification. Deferred gratification is when you see the reward after a period of time, right? You put the effort now, you get the result maybe 1 year later, 5 years later, 10 years later. That is built into our system. So எனக்கு அமெரிக்காவில் போயிட்டு அங்கே இருக்க சிஸ்டம் ஆஃப் எஜுகேஷன் எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. The way they teach, they make you enjoy the learning process. அந்த லேர்னிங் ப்ராசஸில் they involve the students. ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸை தனியாக வச்சு லெக்சர் கொடுத்து இந்த மாதிரி நான் ஸ்பீச் கொடுக்குறேன், நீங்கள் கேட்குறீங்க, தென் ஐ டெஸ்ட் யூ அண்ட் யூ டூ த எக்ஸாம். அந்த மாதிரி சிஸ்டம் கிடையாது. அங்கே the students participate in the learning process. It is not at all exam oriented. Exams are usually maybe 10-15% of the grade. 85% of the grade is based on how you learn and what you learn. If you all enroll in the Dual Diploma Program and the preparatory program, you will understand what I am saying. But anga Virginia Tech போயிட்டு I kind of discovered myself. இது ஒரு புதுசாக இருக்கே அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. The thing is, you enjoy the process of learning and the outcome is a byproduct of your enjoyment. If you, for instance, after I went to Virginia Tech, I realized that although my major was electrical engineering, I was in the electrical engineering department. There were so many options. It's a large university. Virginia Tech has 45,000 students and they have 28 departments. The beauty in the system is that you can pick and choose what you want to learn. So I did maybe 4 or 5 courses in electrical engineering. All the other courses I did a course on film editing. I did a course in mathematics, in graph theory. I did a course in artificial intelligence, and I'm talking about 25 years ago. I did a course on AI. So I did all kinds of courses from various departments, and in every department, every course that I took, I just absolutely loved the learning process. And the way they teach is very collaborative. So, because it's not exam oriented, they give you a project and you do the project and that is your exam. There is no test, there is nothing you have to memorize, there is nothing you have to go and sit, write on a piece of paper. Your project becomes your exam. So I absolutely loved it and I wanted to continue and do my PhD there. My professor said, if you stay with me, I'll let you finish your PhD in 2 years. But my wife, I was married by then, my wife did not like the snow. Virginia Tech is in a place called Blacksburg where it snows all the time. So she said, we are moving to California. So I protested, I fought, I resisted, but we moved to California. So there I went and I joined a job in Hewlett-Packard and I worked there for about 4 years before my love for learning kept bugging me. So then I went to UCLA, which is one of the top universities in the US. I did my MBA at UCLA. And again, I fell in love with the learning process there. And it was the same thing. For the next 3 years, I was just on campus all the time. And I was interacting with professors, my classmates. I met some very interesting people that you know now, but they were not famous at the time. I met Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook. I met Elon Musk. You all know who Elon Musk is by now. So I met a lot of famous people there. And of course, you can see there's a pattern. All the people I met were all entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs. At the time, Elon Musk was a no-name at that time. Nobody knew who he was. But he came to our campus and he gave a speech just like I am giving. And he said, I'm going to start a rocket SpaceX, a rocket company. I'm going to start a electric car company, and I'm going to start a solar panel company that will put a solar panel in every house in America. And we all thought he's nuts. We thought கொஞ்சம் லூசுன்னு நினச்சோம். என்ன இந்த ஆள் என்னென்னமோ சொல்கிறான், என்ன பண்ண போகிறான் அப்படின்னு நினச்சோம். Then somebody said he was doing a PhD in physics and he dropped out and he started all these companies. சரி ஏதோ சொல்கிறான், என்ன பண்ண போகிறான்னு பார்த்தா next 10 years he proved everyone wrong. He started all three companies. All three companies are very successful, and not only successful, it changed the world, and now he's sitting next to the President of the United States. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I met a lot of people like Elon Musk. I must have met about 40-50 entrepreneurs, and all of them are very, very famous now. So I got so inspired that I decided to launch my own startup. So we created a product for education actually, and we've been, that was my baby. I've been traveling with that since. And in 2018-19, I happened to meet the founder of Academica, and due to family circumstance, we moved back to India in 2017. I had two kind of grown children. By the time my daughter was in high school, she was in 8th, 9th at the time. My son was in 5th standard. We moved to India with a lot of hope and a lot of joy, because being with family is everything. America la ennadal irundhalum நம்ம ஊர் மாதிரி வராது, பாட்டெல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதனால திரும்பி வந்துட்டு my children were in an American school. I was looking for a school at the time which offers a blend of international and Indian system. So I wanted them to have a flavor of the American curriculum and also have the benefits of the Indian system. Like I said, Indian system has a lot of good things going for it, but the American system is something different in an orthogonal way. So idu rendume benefit avanum. I was looking for a program and I couldn't find anything. So finally they ended up going to this American International School in Chennai, which is run by the US Consulate. And initially we were very happy, but it turns out that this American International School it's located in India, but it's actually an American school. If you go into that campus in Chennai, it's a heavily guarded campus because it's run by the consulate. But once you go in there, you'll feel like you are in America, because it's a bubble. So they really did not get the Indian school experience, and I always felt bad about that. The second thing is, I have a lot of friends who came back from the US or from UK, from Australia, from various countries, and their children were about the same age, and they were all asking me, this American school is very, very expensive. Is there an affordable international program that will give the students exposure to both Indian system and American system? And I couldn't find anything. In fact, the only American curriculum available in Chennai was by this American International School. So I got really frustrated, but at the same time, when I visited Miami, because Academica, when I met Fernando became an investor in my company. So I used to go to Miami regularly, and I heard about this dual diploma program. Then I asked them, why are you not offering this in India? And luckily, Academica won an award that year, Presidential E Award. And so they came to India, and we visited a number of schools, and we found that there is a lot of interest for the dual diploma program. So I'm going to go into the details of the dual diploma program. But before that, I prefaced all this because I'm not here to tell you that this program will help you get into MIT or IIT or all that. Senil sir showed me a video before we came here. There was this little kid, 6th standard boy, who has created a company. 8th standard boy. Yeah, they started their own company, and they made a video about it, and they said Apple does not make computers. Apple sells innovation. Adu mari da, I am not here to sell the dual diploma. I am here to sell a dream. The dream is going to America. The dream is studying in America. I want all of you to think about higher education in America, whether you go for undergraduate or for masters or to work there. I think you should all definitely explore that as an option. There are so many wonderful universities there. people know only the famous ones, Stanford, Harvard, MIT, and things like that. But there are 3,000 universities in America, 3,000 universities, and they're all very good. Almost all of them are very good. So it's a wonderful opportunity for Indian students to go there and benefit from the higher education that I experienced there. Okay, so I'm here to sell that dream to you. Okay, it is very much possible. It is very doable. I think all the students here are extremely lucky, and I know the adults here, the teachers, you will all agree with me to have Sendil sir and Kumaresh sir heading this organization. And I'm not saying this because I'm on stage and they're here. They're such visionaries, because I've been peddling this dual diploma for the last 2 years. I've met many school founders. I must have met maybe 1,000, 500 to 1,000 school founders so far. So many founders, and every time you explain it, it takes them some time to understand. It's only when they have students going through the program that they realize the value of the program. For Sendil sir and Kumaresh sir, it took 5 seconds. I gave a speech in Bangalore, and after the speech they came and said, "Sir, by the time you were on your 4th slide, we were convinced." It is not easy to get people like this. They are visionaries. They can see miles ahead. They can see 5 years ahead. They can see 10 years ahead. Know what is coming, what is going to happen. Our founder, Academica's founder, Fernando, is like that. He's a crazy guy. He has all these brilliant ideas. He throws it, and we have to go run and execute it. I think Sendil sir and Kumaresh sir are like that. They're kind of crazy. I think you need some crazy people to change the world, right? And I think dual diploma is actually a world-changing idea. I think it's the best innovation that has happened in K through 12 education in the last 25-50 years, especially in India. The dual diploma program பண்ணினீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு இதில் கிடைக்கிற எக்ஸ்போஷர் வந்து it is equivalent to what my children experienced in this American International School bubble, right? You get exposed to a new system of education. You get exposed to about 50,000 students worldwide. You get exposed to a different way of learning where you actually enjoy the learning process while also benefiting from the Indian system of education. So with that preface, I'll jump into the presentation and just go through it quickly. As Andres introduced, Academica is a provider of, Academica runs about 200 schools. We are a chain of schools in the US, and these are regular brick and mortar schools like this school. And you have to visit, if you have a chance to visit the US, you have to go and visit some of these schools. Some of the most amazing, innovative things are happening in these schools, and I was blown away when I went to the school. And I'm just amazed by the social cause that they have adopted. The charter schools are a certain type of school in the US. Public schools are government-run schools, and private schools are privately run, just like here. But the charter schools are privately run, government-sponsored schools. And usually these schools are allowed in areas where the government school is not good. So the government sponsors a private school in such areas. And students in those areas, they don't have access to very good education. So there is this one school called Slam Academy, and Slam is located in Little Havana, which is not a great neighborhood in Miami. The children there don't have good access to education. And by creating this wonderful school in that location, they change the history, they change the future of that entire neighborhood, right? So Academica is a very mission-driven organization like that, and they've been running these schools for the last 30 years. So very, very experienced, very solid people, very passionate about what they do, and most importantly, they're all teachers or educators, and that is a mission that is very close to their heart. I don't know if I sold the dual diploma or not, but I hope you're inspired by my story to think about going to the United States in future, especially for higher education. I hope I've sold the dream to you. Okay. So if அந்த கனவோட நீங்கள் எப்போவே ஒர்க் பண்ணிங்கன்னா, I'm sure every student in Kalvi will be able to achieve that dream. And it's not too far. I'm saying there are 3,000 universities, and they all want international students. They all want smart, motivated, driven students from India. So it will be a great benefit. And don't worry about the cost and whether you'll be able to afford it and all that. A lot of these universities, they offer scholarships, and they offer huge scholarships. There's wonderful opportunity out there, especially the kind of kids that I'm seeing in Kalvi. என்னென்னமோ பண்ணுறீங்கப்பா நீங்கள், இதெல்லாம் வந்து சாதாரணமாக பண்ணிவிடுவீங்க. ஐ எம் ஷுர் நீங்கள் if you pursue this program, if you adopt this program and you do it wholeheartedly with put your heart and soul into it, and of course you have to do well in your regular academics, you have to do well in sports, you have to do well, you have to be a well-rounded student, right? எல்லாமே பண்ணீங்கன்னா I think you can achieve anything. அத்தனைக்கும் ஆசைப்படுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. This program will open a window for you to dream like that and achieve whatever you want. Nothing is impossible. And I want to thank Sendil sir and Kumaresh sir for giving us this opportunity to come here. And I feel very, very strongly, I feel that இங்கே இருக்க பசங்கள்லாம் இதுலேருந்து பெனிஃபிட் ஆகலாமே அப்படிங்கிறது தான் நான் என்னோட மோட்டிவேஷன் இதில் வந்ததுக்கு. ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் அ டெக்னாலஜிஸ்ட், ஐ ஹவ் நோ பேக்ரவுண்ட் இன் எஜுகேஷன். பட் இதுக்குள்ளே வந்ததோட ட்ரீமே இங்கே இருக்க குழந்தைங்கள்லாம் இதில் பெனிஃபிட் ஆகலாமே அப்படின்னு நினச்சி வந்துட்டு இன்றைக்கி இந்த ஸ்டேஜில் ஏறி உங்கள் முன்னாடி பேசி, எஸ்பெஷலி வித் த ஸ்கூல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் தட் இஸ் ஃபுல்லி invested in it and fully involved in it. I'm really, really blessed. I feel this is like a confluence of everything coming together. Sometimes you have a wish and you keep dreaming about it, and then suddenly the universe conspires and everything comes together and falls in place. அந்த மாதிரி எனக்கு இது ஒரு ட்ரீம் கம் ட்ரூ ஆயாச்சு. ஈவன் ஜஸ்ட் டாக்கிங் டு யூ, எனக்கு எத்தனை பேர் இதில் என்ரோல் பண்ணுவீங்க, எத்தனை பேர் பெனிஃபிட் ஆவீங்க எனக்கு தெரியல. பட் ஸ்டில் நீங்கள் உங்கள் முன்னாடி இன்றைக்கி இங்கே பேசினது இட்ஸ் அ ப்ரிவிலேஜ் அண்ட் ஐ டோன்ட் டேக் இட் லைட்லி. தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் தி ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. ஐ விஷ் யூ ஆல் டேக் திஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி அண்ட் பெனிஃபிட் ஃப்ரம் இட். தேங்க்யூ.
American Intercontinental School. Admission open. Contact 95 432 18617